Alright, here we are for another match with the Murasa Tron deck. I'll keep. I think this hand's okay. I don't think this hand's too bad. Wish I didn't have Pulse Murasa. Wish it was something else, but you know. Maybe I'll just draw 1,000 Urza's Mines. Alright, could be up against Blue-Red Drake. Wouldn't be surprised. Deck is not as popular as people make it out to be in, Yep, it is Blue-Red Drake. In the, Do I want a compulsive research here? I think I do. See if my opponent counters it. I'd be a little surprised if they did. Yep. I think here I just want to discard 2 cards. I think here I just want to discard the Rolling Thunder and the Seagate Oracle. The Rolling Thunder is not going to do anything until I actually win the game. And I think the Seagate Oracle is just worse than everything else in my hand. So, pass the turn. Now, this deck's matchup against Blue-Red Drake is interesting because you are better at comboing, but they are better at controlling the game. And okay, never mind, this isn't Blue-Red Drake at all. Now I'll play Seagate Oracle. See what my opponent has to say about it. They did not have anything to say. I think I'll take Prohibit. I can get Mnemonic Wall much later. I could just, shuffle my library if I ever get an Expedition map. It's a lot of artifacts. What I would give for an Ancient Grudge right now, you guys have no idea. Fuck. Oh, it's Grixis Metalcraft. Cool. This matchup is interesting because they have a lot of ways to just out-card advantage you if the game goes long enough, but they can't really stop you from, doing what you're supposed to do with your deck. I guess I can say that. So what we'll do is we'll crack, we'll get mine. Now I need a mine. And do this. And we'll leave up Prohibit, of course. So my opponent's a bit mana screwed. This matchup is interesting because they can also kill you very quickly, especially if if this is the version playing Peregrine Drake, because they also have Bleakcomb and Vampires and stuff. But they have very cheap card draw and Thoughtcast as well, so they just have 1 mana divination and things like that. That's fine. I don't really care too much about that so much. Alright, so we'll get in there for 1, and then we'll actually just play out this Mole Drifter. How much mana do I have? I have 10, 12. So I can actually play out both Mole Drifters. That seems good to me. 1, that. I guess I don't really. I guess it kind of depends if my opponent uses them for something. Alright, well that's good though. So I'll play Seagate Oracle. Here we'll take the Mnemonic Wall. I don't think Lightning Bolt's going to be as good or important. And if my opponent wants to kill my Mole Drifter, I could care absolutely I could care less. Or whatever the heck I'm trying to say. So, one thing against Delver that you guys also should understand is this deck is not as good against Delver as the Blue-Red version or the other Peregrine Drake version. The one that I recorded with last time. That's fine. If he gets another Executioner's Capsule, I'll just counter it. So what this deck is supposed to be very good at is fast aggro decks and just straight up control decks. It's not that good against it's not really that good against the other combo decks. It's not that good against the Blue-Red Drake deck. It's really good at beating the decks to beat, I think, Delver and Blue-Red Drake. So it's good at beating Stompy. It's good at beating Goblins. It's good at beating Boggles and things like that. That's what it's good at beating. And I think we actually just win the game. So if I go Peregrine Drake, I can then Mystical Teachings. I have Prohibit up. Yeah, we would just win the game. All right. 3. Float a blue. That. Good old Drake combo. I don't think that this card needs to be banned. I understand why people want it banned. It's easier to say ban it instead of having to deal with it, but I think the deck is very beatable. I think that people would rather ban it than not learn how to beat it, and I think that people are losing enough to it that like banning it just seems like the right call. I personally don't think it needs to be banned, but that's just me. I've beaten Blue Red Drake, I've lost to Blue Red Drake, I've beaten other Drake decks, I've lost other Drake decks. So now we'll go teachings for Ghostly Flicker. We'll play Mnemonic Wall. Actually, doing this. My opponent probably has a Lightning Bolt in their end. We'll get back Rolling Thunder just to make it easier in my life. Yes. And then float like that. And we'll go Ghostly Flicker. And I'll come back. Well, we'll see if I somehow lose the game, but assuming I win, I'll come back, after I pause. Alright. My opponent is gracious enough to concede. So, despite Ancient Grudge being good at killing artifacts, I don't think that it's actually very good here because my opponent could easily not rely too much on getting artifacts into play. So, with that being said, Rolling Thunder is not as good as Karavek's Torch. Moment's Peace is obviously not very necessary. Flame Slash is really not that good. Giga Drowse is good. I'm actually kind of finding that Giga Drowse might not be that great in this deck, but I'm not sure. Maybe it wasn't that good against Delver, but still. I think this deck might need a third Flame Slash, though. Keep that in mind. The question is, do I bring in Pyroblast or do I bring in Hydroblast? I guess we could bring in the one Ancient Grudge anyway, because my opponent probably has Relic of Progenitus, so I'm probably going to need that. But now the question is, do I bring in Hydroblast or Pyroblast? And I think Capsize isn't going to be that good. Seagate Oracle probably isn't going to be that good. And I could probably shave a Lightning Bolt. And we can bring in 2 Pyroblast and 1 Hydroblast. And kind of test the waters a bit if we lose this game. Of course, the goal is to not lose this game. But if we lose this game, we'll see. So this hand is really not great, but I think I'm willing to keep it. It's like a mulligan to 6. And I think that this is, like, forgetting the Pulse of Murasa, I think this is actually like an average mulligan to 6. So, we shall see. I gotta get a new Dispel picture. Kind of off of this picture. Civilization will subsume. Yeah, okay. Subsume us unless we overwhelm it instead. It's not even a good flavor text. I mean, I guess it's okay. Alright. Say go. Hopefully my opponent does not have Stone Rain, because that would actually be quite annoying. Thoughtcast. Sure. I have no counterspell for that, so... I love this deck because it gets to play Thoughtcast. Alright. Pass the turn. No reason to evoke Muldrifter right now. So my opponent's playing a Beetleback Chief. I'm just going to counter it, just so I don't have to deal with it. I'd rather not deal with the extra tokens. Alright. I think here we'll go 4C while we can resolve it. And we see a bunch of cards we don't actually want. I don't really want the Mystical Teachings right now. Kind of have all the things that I need. I really just need a Tron, and then, some other stuff, but Duress me. Alright. Duress away, my friend. What do you take? Take Pyroblast. Take Lightning Bolt. Probably not taking Pulse. Probably not taking Dispel. Taking Pulse of Murasa. Alright. That is understandable. So I'm sure some of you are probably asking, why is Pulse of Murasa better in this deck than Reaping the Graves? Well, besides the fact that it gains you 6 life, it can also return a land. So, I think that's a big reason why it's good in this deck. Oh, that's annoying. And Tron off the top casually. So, let's go Muldrifter now. Could also go Drake, but I think going Muldrifter is probably better and safer. Does my opponent have a Pyroblast? Because I will dispel the crap out of it. Alright. Does my opponent kill spell? Well, that's not sublime. That's not as good as I was hoping. At least I know my opponent's not drawing a card that overly, kicks my butt. All right, so went Beetleback Chief into Dimir Aqueduct. Could be if I was playing the other deck, that Earth Rift might be good to bring in. I'm just gonna Lightning Bolt it now to kind of stem the bleeding a bit. Well, this is not working out as well as I would hoped it would. Still gonna hold the Peregrine Drake. I'm just gonna attack for 2. And pass the turn. We shall see what my opponent responds with. Yep. That is fine for now. Quite annoying, but fine for now. Take 2. Okay. Moldrifter. I think that's worth a Pyroblast. Keeps my opponent from drawing more cards. My opponent knew I had the Pyroblast too, so alright, we're gonna attack here first actually. It won't take much for me to win. But it was unfortunate that I had to put both Mystical Teachings to the bottom, but I think because I didn't have Tron at the time, I think getting Tron was more important. Just casually cycling a bunch of stuff. Alright, play Moldrifter. Got another Pyroblast. We'll just play Swiftwater Cliffs and pass the turn. Ghostly Flicker would also not be bad. Quite a lot of things would not be bad, actually. Sure. That's fine as well. Man, you're a one annoying creature, you know that? Look at that. He's riding beetles. What a gangster. God, I am so lame. Compulsive Research, alright. So, let's just attack and get the business over with. In this position, I wish, obviously, that the Compulsive Research was another 4C, but I'll take Compulsive Research for now. My opponent decided to go with Ghostly Flicker, and I'm going to let that resolve. I don't really care about my opponent getting more tokens, and I would rather just counter the Moldrifter, I think. But also, I'd rather save Pyroblast for when my opponent does something. But it looks like we just win the game. Just casual win the game. Looks like my opponent did not have the more control element. He had the more combo element of his deck. So I'm just gonna pause and win. And when I come back, I'll probably have won the game, hopefully. All right. So my opponent did not have Fairy Macabre, which is another great card against this type of strategy. So yeah. So give me a second. So that concludes this episode with Murasa Tron. But so my thoughts on Peregrine Drake. I understand the problem with Peregrine Drake decks is that you can the problem so much isn't the combo. The problem is just that Peregrine Drake is a free 2/3, and you could just go Drake Drake and then control the rest of the game from there. I don't think banning Ghostly Flicker would be a good idea. I think if you want to get rid of the Drake decks, you have to ban Drake. But I think banning Drake is just not the right idea just yet. I think if we were to ban Drake so quickly, I think that would actually be kind of a bad thing. I think we can wait till October or September, whenever the heck the next set after Eldritch Moon comes out, to really see just how much the format can adapt to it, and then we can make our decision on whether or not, we all think that Peregrine Drake should be banned. I'm not saying it's not overly powerful. I'm saying that it's not unbeatable, and I'm saying that it can be very beaten. As you saw, the Delver deck kicked the living crap out of me. Had I been playing Blue-Red Drake, would that have happened? I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I can say that playing against Delver with the Blue-Red Drake, I have lost a few times. I've lost a few times against Stompy. I've lost quite a few times against Affinity. Boggles was not the easiest matchup. They just bring an aerial volley or plummet, and they just kill my Peregrine Drake, and then if I don't have another Drake, I lose very quickly. The advantage that this deck and the other Tron version has over that is you have Moment's Peace. But if you bring in Fairy Macabre, then I have to win very quickly. Boggles is really not that easy of a matchup as one may believe, but to each their own. I mean, I'm no I'm no expert, and I'm not the god of Pauper. I don't claim to know all, but I don't think Peregrine Drake should be banned just yet, or if at all. As far as this deck goes, I had a lot of fun playing it. I would definitely suggest it if you like this style of deck. I think if you want more of a combo-oriented version, you should go to the other Peregrine Drake deck that I use with Tron. If you want a straight-up control version, Blue Red Drake is definitely where I would go. Um, but yeah, I had a lot of fun playing this deck. I think the Giga Drowses are going to go though. I don't think I'm a very big fan of it. I don't think you need them. I think Pyroblast is just better at helping protect. So, yeah, but those are my thoughts. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong. It's not a matter of if I'm right or wrong. It's just a matter of this is my outlook on it, my opinion. I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to, admit that my opinion is in fact wrong. But yeah, so thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. See you later.